Jai Narayan, dear students. I hope you all are safe. Stay home, stay safe. And whenever you move out of your house, follow the rules of SMS. Keep on sanitizing your hand, wear mask and maintain social distancing. Now students, this is the second week of our virtual class after the summer vacation. And in the last week, we have studied the chapters. Let's continue our studies. Today we'll start the poem Amanda, written by Robin Klein. Let's talk about the poet first. Robin McClean was born on 28th February 1936. She was an Australian writer and she wrote many books for kids. Her first short story was published when she was of the age of 16. She worked in a number of jobs before becoming an established writer, and she was awarded a literature board grant for writing, and since then she had written more than 20 books which were published. Now about the poem. So this poem, it deals with the upbringing of a small girl named Amanda. It highlights the struggles which are being faced by the child. Poet Robin Klein makes an important point that a child should never be denied freedom and space. Though it is parents who are responsible for proper upbringing of their child, but that should not make a child feel trapped. Here, Amanda is prepared to be acceptable in society, and this training needs her freedom to be shortcut. Her imagination is not given enough space, thus making her so angry that she wishes to be an orphan. The continuous nagging has thus made her moody. Now, this is stanza 1 in front of you. Here, in the above lines, Amanda is probably getting instruction by her parents for biting nails and sitting lazily with her shoulders bent. The tone of instruction here is not a friendly one and thus fails to make any sense to Amanda. The poet here focuses on the aspect related to the upbringing of a child and how parents go to any limit to bring proper sense to their child. Amanda is getting trained for the society she is a part of. The pressure of making oneself presentable to the society triumphs over every other behavior and manner. The last word Amanda is used with an exclamation mark which shows the irritation and frustration of the parent. This is the second stanza, and it is to be noted that the above lines, they are within the bracket. Here, brackets are used to provide more meaning to the phrase. The poet uses it to present the imagination of the little girl, the free flow of pure thoughts. Amanda, she is using her imagination to escape from the day-to-day commands which are being given by her parents. So, in this stanza, she feels quite suffocated in the real world and wants to find peace in her own created world where there are no restraints. She imagines herself to be a joyful mermaid sailing without any confines alongside soft waves of the green sea, emerald sea. This world of Amanda is free and contained in itself, and her happiness doesn't require any other human being. For a child, mermaid is a symbol of freedom and wonder. Now, This is stanza 3 in front of you. Here, Amanda is once again now being asked whether she had finished her homework or tidied up her room, and also whether she had cleaned up her shoes or not. So, this set of instructions mark a stiff shift from the instructions given in stanza 1. The pattern of instructions explain that how every aspect of her is related to questioning and proper guidance. She is being disciplined for every little thing, making her lose of her freedom. Her innocence is eventually getting lost with passage of time. The way these instructions are delivered points out the regular nature of these lessons. Her name being called again with an exclamation mark shows that the parents seem to be losing their cool and are quite troubled. In this stanza, we once again see Amanda's reaction to her mother's harsh words. Amanda, she withdraws into her imaginary world. The very first line is quite awfully depressing, where Amanda, she is imagining herself to be an orphan, suggesting that how much frustrated she is with continuous questioning of her parents, especially her mother, you can say. She has no shoes on her feet, and instead she is getting them even dirtier by making designs on the dusty ground with them. However, she makes no sound while making these dusty designs. She cherishes the silence as well as the freedom to do as she likes that world of her imagination. Her silence for love is as a result of the shouting and yelling of her parents. See, once again here, a different set of instructions are being provided to her, indicating how much essential it is for her to understand the value of external beauty. Amanda here is being stopped by her parents for eating a chocolate because then she would develop acne on her skin. Here we see how a child is made conscious of a natural experience such as acne. However, she is still lost in her own thoughts and doesn't care to look up to her scolding parent. And this carelessness further angers the parents, and they ask her for her attention, which she is being scolded for. The role of appearance in the society is given more significance than the basic values and creativity. Here, once again we can see so that Amanda is still in her own imaginary world. She is picturing herself now. She is picturing herself to be the long golden haired Rapunzel. Rapunzel is the character who used to live in the castle and had no care about anything. But then Amanda, she imagines that the life of Rapunzel must have been very peaceful and fantastic in the tower. But she wishes to evade the fate that was met out to Rapunzel, as she is unwilling to let her hair down. Amanda doesn't want her peace to be disturbed anyhow. She wants a life which is away from any other humans. We can see here how the presence of her parents and their inhuman behavior had made her against any human connection. So she only wanted to live all alone by herself, as the presence of any other human being in her life would require her to act in a certain way. But Amanda, she wanted to live as a free and happy person. The parents, they kept on instructing Amanda on the do's and don'ts. Amanda, she remains lost in her own world. The parents believed that Amanda is not reacting because she is annoyed. Amanda's behavior has made her parents look bad, and they are worried about their image. They are concerned about how society will perceive them if their child always remains in a bad mood. They want to prove themselves as responsible parents who had managed to balance out what the child wants and what the society expects out of Amanda. However, I think so. They have already failed in their effort. Now comes the poetic devices which are being used in the poem. The first device used is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of initial sound, consonant sound, in the same line. So in the first paragraph, the line was there, they stop that slouching and sit up straight. So here S, stop, slouching, sit straight. Consonant sound S is being spoken out. So this is alliteration. The next is allusion. Allusion means a reference to statement, person, place, etc. from history or any other field. So here, reference of mermaid and Rapunzel are being given. So they are allusion. The next is metaphor. Metaphor is a device which compares two things or qualities which are unlike. So here, metaphor used is in orphan. The second one is about the emerald sea, because this is the type of quality which is being assigned to sea. And then is silence is gold, freedom is sweet. The last is rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme is your homework. In the next class, I'll be asking about the rhyme scheme of this poem. So, I hope it is clear to you. But still, if you feel that you are having any problem, please feel free to ask.